for tuning in to the Wing Space podcast. This podcast is not a replacement for mental health treatment or professional health care. In case of crisis or emergency, please contact your local healthcare provider or dial 911.
Hey there, and welcome to the Wing Space podcast, a place to take up space. We are coming into the home stretch of our 5th season of the podcast, where we have been focusing on the 5 pillars of wellness: food, movement, sleep, stress, and relationships. And I'm just excited to be able to share all of the information that our guests and myself have been able to put together. We always encourage our listeners to seek professional help from local providers, from professionals when they have some kind of a mental health concern. But we know that not everyone is able to do that. And we appreciate those who listen to this podcast. We appreciate those of you that like and share. So I invite you to like this video, subscribe to our channel. If it helps you, then maybe send it to someone else who you think might be able to get a little nugget of information. And it helps us to achieve our mission of making wellness accessible for everyone. And I really appreciate that. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this idea of living unapologetically. And next week, I'm joined with 2 of my favorite guests who are going to join me in a fun conversation about mothering in different stages. So this episode that you're listening to now is coming in just the week before Mother's Day, and our next episode is going to come the week after Mother's Day. So we're going to honor our lives as moms and our stages that we're in, which is the next episode that is coming up. So make sure you stay tuned to that. Make sure you like and you share and you subscribe so you can get all the latest information about the podcast. So living unapologetically. I had originally thought that this episode was going to be an episode about traveling. And then as I was putting my thoughts together, I realized that being willing to take the trip is really about living unapologetically. So I want to talk about how I came to be a traveler and then tie that all into this idea of living unapologetically. Now, first of all, let me say that I'm not telling you to throw caution to the wind and not care about other people or risks and things like that. But I am encouraging you to take the trip, to take the picture, to do the thing. So my husband and I have been married for a little over 20 years now. And when we were on our honeymoon, we went to the Dominican Republic. We were at a really nice resort. And let me set the scene for you. We're sitting on the beach one day. He is in the sun, soaking it all up. I am under a shade umbrella, which I think I'd also put my Chase lounge and the umbrella under a tree that was also providing shade. And I was covered up with a big giant beach towel while he is soaking up the sun. So that just tells you, the differences between he and I. And one of us said we should come back here every 5 years, just the 2 of us, whether we have kids or not, we should come back here every 5 years. And so we started into our marriage, and it was, I guess, a year and a half or so after we got married, our first child was born. And then about 2 years later, our second child was born. And so we were nearing 5 years of marriage, and we were like, okay, we're going back to the Dominican Republic. And then it kind of struck both of us. And we were like, there's so much more in the world to see than the Dominican Republic. So let's go someplace else. And so we have every 5 years gone on a trip, just the 2 of us. And we have made sure that we have done it economically and that we have done it as a consistent promise to each other. And it has been helpful for us to reconnect, for us to explore the world. And interestingly, we've gone south to tropical locations for the first 20 years of our marriage. And we have made a commitment to each other that the next 20 years, we're going to the other side of the globe. So for our honeymoon, we were in the Dominican. For 5 years, we went to Hawaii. For 10 years, we went to Costa Rica. For 15 years, we went to Jamaica. And for 20 years, we went on a Western Caribbean cruise. So we've always made sure that we looked at pricing and we don't do things extravagantly, and that we were trying to be economical with our trips. And I realize that for some of you that are listening, those kinds of trips may not be possible for various reasons, right? It may be financial, it might be because of your family circumstances or childcare or your job. So I would invite you to consider, how can you make a commitment to yourself and maybe a commitment to your partner that you're going to do the thing, right? You're going to take the trip. You're going to make time for yourself. You're going to make time for each other. We told our children that we were going to take them on a senior trip. So many of you might think, oh, that's the summer after they graduate high school. And for us, that's what it was going to be. But a number of years ago, I was reading a parenting magazine when reading magazines was still a thing. And one of the articles talked about how taking that senior trip the summer before their senior year is actually potentially a better idea, because when they graduate, their wings, they're soaring, right? So they are going on their senior trip with their friends. They might be going away to early college or joining the military or whatever. Maybe they're working and they just don't have time for us anymore. So the summer of 23, leading into the school year of 23-24, we went on a trip with our oldest son and both of the kids. But for our oldest son, we went back to Costa Rica. I highly, highly recommend that country. It's amazing. The people are incredible. It's very economical to go there. And it's just a beautiful place. But we've been in the process of trying to figure out where we're going to go for our youngest son. Cannot believe we are approaching this, but I scheduled his senior pictures and this is his senior summer. He graduates next year, 26. And so we decided to go back to the Dominican. And it's fun because, my husband and I had already gone to Costa Rica. So we went back with our kids. And then our traveling journey started in the Dominican, and we're taking our kids there this summer. So that'll be fun. But while we were planning this trip, my husband was like, you and I need to go on a trip. And I was like, babe, we just went on a trip. And he's like, yeah, so what? Let's go on another one. I don't know where that trip is going to be, but it had me thinking that it's really important to take the trip, right? To take time away to explore the world, explore your state, explore your area. I mean, how many of you, if you're listening in Southern Maryland, how many of you have gone to the places that are sightseeing locations in Maryland? I went to Great Falls for the first time a couple of weeks ago. It is a part of the C&O Canal. It's part of our national park system. It's an absolutely beautiful waterfall area. I had never been there before. I lived in Maryland my whole life. I've never been there. And we had gone to West Virginia to see my husband's family, and we were on our way back, and he was like, hey, let's stop there. Okay, great. We stopped. It was beautiful. It was a wonderful little stopover on the trip home. So how many of you live in a place where you've never really explored? There's so many things around us. There's beautiful local parks and state parks and national parks and little hidden gems along the way that we so often just take for granted, and we don't do the thing. You've heard me talk a lot on this podcast about bucket lists and creating lists of things to do. And the reality is, there are times when people get to the end of their life and they say, I wish I would have, or if only I had time to, right? We have the time. It's all about how we make time and how we plan for it. And if we say, oh yeah, one day I'm gonna, but we don't actually put it on the calendar. And I would encourage you, if you don't already have a wall calendar in your house, I want you to buy a wall calendar. I want you to put a calendar in your house, and I want you to look ahead at the dates. And I want you to say, this date, this month, on this day, we're going to do this thing. Make it a priority. Our oldest son is joining the Navy. We're super proud of him. We're excited for his future. And our countdown for when he ships out is on. It is officially on. As of this morning, there are 98 days left. And so we're really excited for him, but we also know that we have a summer ahead of us that I want to make the best of, because he will belong to the US Navy after he ships out. And selfishly, I want to get all of him that I can. So we after several years of not having one, we pulled out a wall calendar and we've put things up there in terms of, we've got some graduation parties coming up and we've got some other small little trips coming up, and we've put all those things on the calendar because number one, I want to make sure that he's not making plans that are going to interfere with kind of what we've got going on as a family. But I also want to make sure that we're making time to do the things that we want to do before he ships out. And when our time as a family of 4 is limited. So get a wall calendar and plan the trip. Maybe you start with a small little drive. When was the last time you Southern Marylanders have walked one of our local parks or gone to Solomon's Island and walked around the boardwalk? There's so much around us that we just often take for granted because we have all the things to do. When I talk about this idea of living unapologetically, again, it's not about throwing caution to the wind and saying, screw the job, screw the responsibilities. I'm going to put all my money on a credit card and I'm going to go on this trip. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying maybe you take a Saturday and you go to Great Falls and you go hiking, or you go to Solomon's Island, or if you don't live in the Southern Maryland area, you go to your tourism website for your area, because they all have them. Go to one of those places, make the time to do the thing so that at the end of the day, you have done something to fill your cup. You've heard me talk about just recently, we have this bucket and it fills up with stress. And what are we doing in order to remove the stress? The things that we have on our calendar, some of them cause us stress, but not everything should cause us stress. Not all the things should be the thing that we dread. Right? It should be an opportunity to celebrate. It should be an opportunity to experience joy. And, I stopped apologizing for taking pictures a long time ago. Interesting little segue here. I have always been someone in my family that took a lot of pictures, and, in the middle of the family dinner, okay, everybody over here, we're going to take a picture, and, grumble, grumble, groan, and I would apologize. And, I've stopped apologizing for that, because the reality is, take the damn picture. Not only take the picture, but be in the picture. We have phones have timers. If you don't have a tripod, figure out a way to prop it up with a bunch of pillows or something. Do the whole selfie thing where, you're here and everybody else is back there. Take the picture and be in the picture, because nobody wants to be the person when you're trying to make picture boards at someone's funeral saying, I wish we had taken more pictures of, fill in the name of your loved one. What we really want is, gosh, there's so many pictures. We got to cut some of these out, or go buy more poster board, right? Take the picture, take the trip, do the thing, have a life that you're living that brings you joy, because so much of life is hard. And we've talked about that here on the podcast. It's what I talk with my clients about all the time. We're in the midst of Mental Health Awareness Month in the month of May, and leading up to PTSD Awareness Month in the month of June, and kind of this really big focus on trauma and healing from and surviving and overcoming trauma. Whether it's a little trauma or a big trauma or a stressor or just an annoyance, whatever it is, life is hard, and we know that. But we also have the ability to take the bull by the horns. We have the ability to, my dad used to say to me, put on your boots, let's ruck up, let's go, right? Because we got to do the thing. And we can do the thing, but we can also have fun. We can also find opportunities to enjoy life. I feel like at this point I'm rambling. I've made my point. You've heard what I have to say. We're going into summer months where it could be either really, really hectic and crazy, and at the end of the day, you might say, gosh, I can't wait for these kids to start school. Or you can get to August and you can say, man, I wish we had a couple more weeks, because the summer has been so fun. So I encourage you to have a summer of fun, create a life of fun and enjoyment and experiences. Take the trip, take the picture, do the thing, live your life. I would love to hear what you are doing. Tag us, share with us the fun things that you're doing, the experiences that you're having. Share with friends and family. Hey, I found this awesome place to go. And share those things with the people that you love. As always, thanks for listening. I hope you have a great day.